Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show. And today we have to talk about the successor to the Nintendo Switch because Nintendo just confirmed some important information. Let's be real now. Very, very important information to me. This was like a make or break, really, for my general interest in Nintendo Switch. Sequel, I should say. So let's just jump into the details because we have an article from the Video Game Chronicles which states the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with the Switch. Nintendo confirms. Nintendo themselves confirmed this off rip. They felt as though it was very important to let their potential new gamers for the sequel console to the Nintendo Switch. It felt it was imperative that this detail be out before even the announcement of the Switch 2 itself. Information about the console will be revealed at a later date. Oh my god, it's like it couldn't come soon enough. Like, a lot of people have been feeling like this console should have been announced a long ass time ago. But Nintendo has confirmed that the successor to the Nintendo Switch will be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch. In a post on X, a message from Nintendo president Furukawa also announced that further information about the successor to the Nintendo Switch will come at a later date. This is Furukawa. The message reads, at today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced the Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. The post also confirmed that Nintendo Switch Online would be available on successor console. No further details on its implementation were announced. Earlier today, Nintendo reiterated it still intends to announce its next console hardware for the end of the current fiscal year, which includes March 31st, 2025. Wow. President Furukawa made comments during the online press conference on Tuesday following the publication of Nintendo's latest earning results. But the executive did not add any additional details. So, while I think it's very important and such a big deal that the Nintendo Switch 2 is getting backwards compatibility, to me, this already confirms that the Nintendo Switch 2 is the only interesting console, period. All the other consoles, there's nothing to them. They're very basic. Really, Xbox is just Game Pass at the end of the day. And PlayStation, well, they're just really shitty, movie video games for the most part. Besides Astrobot, really, that are made for mostly women. That's what PlayStation is. I think that the Pro is a complete fucking waste of time, money, and really discussion. And given how some of these reviews seem to be going for the Pro, the meltdowns from the PlayStation console gremlins have been insane. But one of the biggest things that I said would make me interested in day oneing a Switch 2 was, will I be able to play Nintendo Switch games on this console? That's important to me. You see that I have a good stack of Nintendo Switch games behind me. That's only like maybe a third of my collection, probably maybe just a fourth of my collection. I do have a lot of Nintendo Switch video games. I also have a decent digital library on Nintendo Switch. But to be fair, I also haven't played Nintendo Switch games in a really long time just because, well, they're not up to my personal standard in gaming. Now, if I think what would be even more amazing than this is if Nintendo said, hey, here's a slew of our Nintendo Switch games that are getting patched for the Switch 2 that are going to run and look better. That would be such an amazing selling point, because at that point, I would have so many games on the Nintendo Switch to catch up on. And every time a new console launches, you can expect there to be a dry spell that first year at some point. And that would give me this great opportunity to pick up some of the games that I chose not to buy because I know I wasn't going to play them. Because, well, I'm not feeling this whole 30 FPS shit, bro. I'm not feeling it. Sub 1080p is kind of gross, and sub 720p on a handheld device is also kind of gross. Some of these games, like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, the, the resolution is god awful on Nintendo Switch. So if we get some updates to some of these games, man, there's so many games that I would love to catch up on. There's so many games that I would buy off rip that are just Nintendo Switch games to play on my Switch 2 if I were to, if I was interested in a Switch 2. So that aside, like I said, to me, the Nintendo Switch 2 is the most interesting console. I must preface that. It's compared to other consoles, so that's the thing, but it's really likely going to be just another handheld that's dockable. A lot of people want to argue that shit, but that's what it is. Otherwise, my analog pocket would also be a console, even though it's a literal fucking handheld device that plays GBA, Game Boy Color, etc. handheld games that's also dockable to a TV. But I digress. Now, other interesting information that's, to me, more on the disappointing side is Nintendo Switch Online being available on Switch 2. Nintendo Switch Online is god-awful. Thankfully, the base version of it's only like, what, $20? Family plans are more sort of reasonable, but it's still garbage. What they offer you is terrible. Especially when they try... Nintendo's biggest issue is they're trying to destroy emulation for the sake of making you pay to play their classic catalog of titles without giving you an option to buy their classic catalog of titles. That is Nintendo's biggest, most disgraceful issue right now. The fact that a lot of these games that are available on Nintendo Switch Online not only are garbagely emulated by Nintendo themselves, but yes, they're not available for purchase officially. I think that is absolutely disgraceful on Nintendo's part. I think Nintendo Switch Online is disgusting. Especially if you're going for that like $60 version that gives you access to like N64 games. Some of them play like absolute ass. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows here, realistically, guys. And a lot of you may say, well, Cage, you got a PC and you got a Steam Deck. Why would you buy a Nintendo Switch 2? Well, I love handheld devices, motherfucker. Like, I actually really appreciate Nintendo's video games. I appreciate that Nintendo understands what video games are, what they're supposed to be, not some interactive movie bullshit, or their focal point is on giving a full priced full priced experience that's worthy of the price point. Now, does every game fall under that moniker? Absolutely not. But I think Nintendo, when it comes to developing video games that are genuinely fun, first and foremost, Nintendo does that for me. The escapism with Nintendo Switch games, to me, is unparalleled in comparison to the other main console manufacturers. Whether you like Mario or Zelda or not, the gameplay aspect, the escapism of their games, phenomenal. The fact that I could still pop in a Nintendo Switch game and just go, and it's gameplay, and I'm running with that shit, but it's respectable. That's the one respectable thing about Nintendo. Just the fact that I just feel unintruded on, it is important to me as a gamer. But also, when I buy a Nintendo game, for the most part, those games retain their value. That's important to me. I really feel like I'm buying pieces of history when I buy a Nintendo game. A lot of my games I could still sell for a good price point if I needed to. So if I end up falling into mass poverty, I will certainly be selling my Nintendo Switch collection first and foremost. Whereas with PlayStation or Xbox games, physical copies of those age is like milk. Okay, like the depreciation of price of the game's worth is so much different when it comes to Nintendo. A lot of people like to bitch about Nintendo's prices, and I understand that they don't really have deals, and it does suck, but at least their games tend to retain their value, so that's one way to look at it. But yeah, I will do a lot for a company that just makes me feel like, yo, it's all about the gaming. And while Nintendo definitely has some shortcomings, for sure, There's no denying that. Some people absolutely hate Nintendo that are, subscribers of my channel, and I understand your issues with Nintendo, and I agree with a lot of them. Absolutely so. Nintendo are scumbags when it comes to emulation, when it comes to preservation of gaming. These are important things to me as well. These are important things to me as well, and that's why it's important. It's imperative for people to continue to fight the good fight when it comes to that stuff. So I support y'all for sure. I support I support all levels of game preservation, if it be through collecting the games, if it be through ROMs, if it be through piracy. Do whatever you got to do, man. It's all about preserving the history of the greatest entertainment ever created. And Nintendo is really such a huge part of the history of gaming. And I think that, while the entire industry is essentially collapsing, I think Nintendo is going to be the ones to carry the industry on its back. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 will be one of the most imperative pieces of technology that will carry gaming on its back. It's not just about the console itself with the Switch 2, but it's about the software. It's about really just continuing to provide good content from a gaming perspective, whereas all these other companies fallen down this path of self-destruction of their own doing. Sadly, Nintendo has been able to keep away from that. So that's just interesting to me. I think that we're to still have physical media. I wonder how. So if the Nintendo Switch 2 is indeed fully backwards compatible, not just digital backwards compatible, but fully backwards compatible, I wonder if the SD card. I wonder if the Switch 2 is gonna have an SD card slot. I mean, not an SD card slot, but like Switch game card slot. I wonder if the card itself, like the game itself, the physical copy itself, is going to be the same, or if they're going to change that format. It'd be nice if they would change it to a more reasonably priced format, because the Switch tax is real. You pay like $5 more, I think, at least for every game, just because it's on that little cartridge thing. So I wonder if it's going to be the same cartridge, or I wonder if the Switch 2 slot is going to accept Switch cartridges as well as Switch 2 cartridges, or will there be two cartridge slots for Switch 2? This is all interesting stuff, man. It's all interesting stuff. I'm glad to see Nintendo updating and giving us little tidbits of info. When do you guys expect the full reveal? That's what I'm interested in. Will it be at the end of the year? We're assuming that's going to be before March 31st. That's what they're saying here, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, early today, Nintendo reiterated it still intends to announce its next console hardware before the end of the current physical year, which includes March 31st, 2025. So we are just months away from the official announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2. I hope they call it the Nintendo Super Switch. That would be insane. But I think possibly, I do not think they're going to announce it at the Game Awards. It would be the one highlight from the Game Awards, because we know that the Game Awards is going to be rigged dog shit as per usual. Can't wait to make fun of it with you guys, because that's what we do here. But yeah, I think they're going to do it by their own means. It's going to be a Nintendo Direct. It's going to be, YouTube, Twitch. It's going to be an insane event. I'm excited for it. I hope that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a Switch, but way better hardware, plays games way better, visuals are upgraded. Really, I hope it gives us some options there, man. I like the Switch. The Switch has popularized handheld gaming in a way that I didn't think I would ever see. And a lot of people want to give that to Steam Deck and the game in the PC gaming community, but let's be honest now, Nintendo Switch though was the ones to popularize that shit, whether you want to admit to it or not. So I want to see how Nintendo flips it all on its head after all these other companies kind of, following suit with them. Really, at the end of the day, following suit. It's always interesting to see what Nintendo's got. Sometimes they shit the bed. Sometimes it's a hit. Nintendo Switch happened to be a massive hit for them. So I'm interested to see what they do to change and what they do to stay the same, to stay on course. It's gonna be a crazy time when Nintendo Switch 2 gets announced, when the Super Switch gets announced. But guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Is this important to you that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with the Switch 1? Is this something that confirms that you'll be buying the Switch 2 day one? Or are you still waiting to see, let me get the details first? Or do you just hate Nintendo? There's nothing you could do there's nothing they could do that's gonna buy you over. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of different opinions on Nintendo that tend to, check out my channel. And I respect it. I love to hear what y'all got to say about it. I'm pretty excited. But if Nintendo does some stupid shit, you're going to hear it from me first. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Mario Kart. Yes, at Mario Kart if you'd like to continue the conversation. And yeah, guys, with all being said, I'm out. Peace.